a man discovered a massive chunk of gold. He was thrilled and started digging with his hands, but after 3 hours of digging, the gold still had no end in sight. Desperate, he was about to leave with his teammates, but when he turned around, behind him stood a towering mountain of gold. This was the legendary Treasure Island, so they headed toward the Golden Mountain. On the way, they found that elephants were smaller than dogs, while tiny bees were larger than cows. Following a small path toward the Golden Mountain, they came across a pile of strange-looking stones. The strong man stomped on one, and it cracked open, revealing a huge hole. When he lifted his foot, his sole was covered in sticky slime. That was when they realized these were the eggs of a giant creature. They carefully prepared to escape, but the man accidentally crushed one of the eggs, and fell straight into it. The thick, sticky slime wrapped around him. A tiny gecko nearby opened its mouth. Terrified, the man broke out of the eggshell, but he accidentally woke up the giant gecko guarding the eggs. The gecko turned its gaze toward them. Panicked, they bolted and ran for their lives. The giant gecko quickly closed in on the boy at the back of the group. It leaped forward, aiming to pounce on him. At the last second, the boy made a desperate jump and dodged it. Soon, they found themselves cornered with nowhere to run. The strong man pulled out a signal flare, hoping to scare the gecko away, but to his shock, the gecko swallowed it in one bite. The strong man threw a punch at the gecko. Enraged, the gecko prepared to devour them all. Just then, several massive tree trunks came flying over and knocked it out. The group stood there, dumbfounded, only to realize it was the boy's grandfather who had saved them. They followed the grandfather to a palace, and discovered that the only way to leave the island was by spaceship. As they searched for the spaceship and continued their journey, golden rain suddenly poured down from the sky. It turned out that the island's golden volcano was erupting. They pressed forward but were soon blocked by a towering mountain. To their surprise, the grandfather stepped into the grass, and the next moment, he flew out riding a giant bee. The group quickly followed, each mounting a giant bee, and soared over the mountain. But little did they know, an even greater danger was silently approaching.